There is a warrior tanking build going around now that not only is gonna top the DPS of your raid, but it has now officially hit well over top 100 in the world. As of the time of this recording, guys, Shredz, the tank warrior, has hit top 57 in the entire planet. So let's take a look at his build, because it is nothing like you might expect when I say that. So first of all, he is not going prot, that is not much of a shocker, he's going for max damage, but he is not also, you may assume when I say this, oh, he's gonna do dual wield tanking, he's gonna go fury tank, you know, the whole classic thing. No, this is totally different. Okay, he's gonna be first of all taking 5% crit from cruelty, because that is just a no-brainer. Then he will take unbridled wrath here, because he's trying to be the rank 1 in the world, that you gotta be very selfish. Normally you would wanna take improved demoralizing shout anyway, that's probably what I would take if I were him, but he wants to hit top 100, that one rage that you gain when you deal melee damage, that is a big deal for him when you're at that level, of course. Then he's gonna be taking improved battle shout for more attack power, he's gonna be taking enrage, very important here, every time you get hit, you do 25% more stinking damage, guys. Then he's gonna take Death Wish. Death Wish is a magnificently strong talent, it gives you 20% more damage. Of course you take a lot more damage, but as you can see, like you can imagine with his top guild, his guild can handle the healing, like he's gonna take a lot of damage, his healers are expected to handle that. Of course, if you are in a normal guild and you pop Death Wish, you're gonna die. He's gonna take 2 improved execute, because he's gonna execute, guys, that's part of his rotation too. And he will take 2 points in cleave, because there is really nothing good here. If you wanna do something else like taking piercing howl so you can AoE kite the ads, I would probably love to take something like this. It feels very convenient to be able to kite on your own. Of course, he's in a very coordinated guild, he doesn't need that, he has plenty of AoE DPSers and good mages to help that for him. But yeah, he's taking 2 clip because he's trying to hit top 100 in the world, obviously. Then he is going to take not 1, not 2, but 3 points in flurry. And why is he stopping exactly at 3 points in flurry? Okay, this is one of the strongest talents in the game. As you guys know, 30% attack speed for a warrior is a lot of damage. But he needs to go back to arms right now for something very important. He's gonna be taking 3 points in improved rend, 5 points in parry, he's gonna take 2 points in heroic strike for cheaper heroic strikes, and then he's gonna go full on deep wounds. Okay, deep wounds is the main reason that this build works. As you guys know, now that we're in Sunken Temple and not everything is a robot now, you can actually do bleed damage. That thing was stupid. So now they do full bleed damage, and as you guys also know, now in Season of Discovery we have feral druids, they can do mangle. Mangle buffs the bleed damage of a target by 30%, okay? So not only deep wounds was already in vanilla proper a very strong talent, now it does 30% more damage on top of that. And also Devastate can proc deep wounds. Now for the rules, this is the part that you're probably expecting me to say, okay? He's going Gladiator stance, okay? Gladiator stance makes you lose 10% threat, in exchange you gain 10% damage. Of course, you may think at that and you may think it's an even deal because you lose 10% threat but you gain 10% damage is about the same. No, you are mistaken, because in defensive stance you have 30% more threat, not 10. So this is a net loss of about 30% threat. It is nothing to sneeze at, that's a lot of threat you're losing. Of course, when you're doing the top 50 DPS in the world by spamming Devastate, threat is not gonna be an issue to you, but I wanna warn you guys that if you do not have a lot of gear, if you're not a very good tryhard, okay, this is probably not gonna be the build for you. I also made a prot build guide for you if you wanna play prot like a normal guy, but this is what it takes to be the best in the world. He's gonna be taking Shield Mastery for 10% more damage on top of that, that's of course very important. Then he's gonna take Flagellation, 25% more damage, very obvious. One thing that I am surprised here is that he's not taking Rampage, he's taking Wrecking Crew. I have seen him take Rampage in some fights to be fair, but for the most part he goes for Wrecking Crew because apparently this scales a little better. I would assume that the more he gets best in slot gear, because he is not completely best in slot, guys, okay? The raid has barely started. By the time he gets a lot more attack power, he might swap into Rampage, but he goes for Wrecking Crew. He likes Wrecking Crew, it gives you more damage. For the hands, of course, we're gonna be taking Devastate, because Devastate is just the best ability you can get for this. It's Thunder Armor with damage, why wouldn't you take that? For legs though, he's taking Consumed by Rage. This is a little confusing, guys, okay? I said many times before that Consumed by Rage is very bad when you're Fury. Fury Tank at least, because it gives you 10% more damage, but it will override Enrage here, which is 25% more damage. So there is more than one situation where Enrage is gonna cost you a lot of damage. His gameplay is impeccable. Apparently, checking out the logs, I haven't seen him lose Enrage more than 2 times in an entire lockout. So yeah, it can still happen, but if you time it right, when you have an Enrage up, you do not proc consume by rage, you wait, you are careful, and that's what he's doing. That takes a lot more skill than it sounds like. Controlling your rage in a very unpredictable class like the warrior is very hard. And finally, he's taking focus rage, because cheaper devastate means more damage. Now that devastate got correctly buffed, devastate does almost the same damage as a slam, so getting free slams is not as tempting as just doing more devastate. Of course, devastate is a lot more threat than a slam too, so you got that going on. That makes a lot of sense. As you can see in his rotation, guys, he's not doing anything particularly crazy here. Most of his damage is just auto attacks, heroic strikes, and devastate like you would expect, but look at that. 22% of his damage almost is deep wounds. That's the big part. All things equal, when you get a lot of damage modifiers, 10% more damage in the Gladiator stance, 10% more damage with your Shield Mastery rune, and 25% damage from your Enrage, all that thing is calculated into deep wounds, and it makes it super overpowered. So let's talk a little bit about the rotation that you're gonna need to do to make this build work, okay? Your rotation is gonna be devastate. Thanks for coming, guys. See you later. No, for real. Devastate is the thing that does the most damage. You need damage. It's the best thing you can do. You don't have Shield Slam, you don't have Bloodthirst, all you got is Devastate. So it's really easy to play, ironically enough, aside from the controlling your rage part. So how are you gonna control your rage? Well, Heroic Strike. He has a very slow weapon. He has the Trash Blade, which is an amazing weapon. It has free Wind Fury basically on it. It makes a lot of sense that he would like something like that. I assume once he gets the new weapon from Sunken Temple, the Cobra something thing that has Wind Fury 2, he's probably gonna go for that instead, but right now Trash Blade is insane. He is also using Crusader Enchant. Yes, you can get the Crusader Enchant, it's a top secret thing, sorry guys, I cannot break it down for you. I have seen No Hit Jerome personally go insane farming them, just the way it goes, man. That's what it takes. But aside from that, you just do Devastate, 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 and when you have too much rage, you do Heroic Strike, and when you get down to the Execute phase, you swap into Execute, because it does more damage. Now, Execute is not gonna do, for most parts at least, more threat than Devastate, but it will do a lot more damage, about 3 times more damage. By that point, if you're pumping 1250 DPS, you're gonna have no trouble with aggro anyway, so you might as well spam it. Yeah, I bet you guys were thinking that the rotation was gonna be super insane and complex, but no, actually, if you don't want to do your rotation very well, if you don't care, you can just do that. One thing that I do see happening is that once he gets even more gear, and he's already chugging my rage potions constantly, you can take his logs, he's doing like 1 or 2 rage potions a fight, which makes a lot of sense. That's why you need to pump this kind of damage, but he's eventually gonna run into a different problem. He's gonna have too much rage, okay? Devastate doesn't consume that much rage, so I think he might swap into Rampage eventually, not because it does necessarily more damage, even though I think it will scale better, but because he wants to dump rage. It's 30 rage that you can dump whenever you want. That's very convenient for handling your consume by rage and stuff like that. So who is this build best for? Okay, first of all, you need a guild with good healers, okay? If you take a look at his healers, it may look like they are not pumping a lot of healing, but he's running 4 healers, okay? Normally, for this kind of guild, when you're like a super tryhard guild, you're gonna be running 3 healers instead, but no, he needs 1 more healer to justify to survive this thing. Eventually they are probably gonna transition to 3 healers, but yeah, like this is an extra burden. So if you have an extra healer in your guild that you wanna take, it might be worth a justification to say, okay, yeah, we're gonna take 1 more healer, but we're gonna take a Gladiator tank, so it's gonna even out in the damage, guys. We're not losing anything, might as well. Also, you need gear. He has the Trash Blade, the second best weapon in the game, because the Cobra Strike hasn't dropped to him. I am sure he's gonna get it eventually. And he has a Crusader enchant on it. It's an enchant from level 60 that you're not even supposed to have. Okay, top secret how he got it, guys. It gives you 100 strength. That's what Crusader does, okay? So imagine you get 200 attack power for free. That's basically what he's doing with that. Secondly, he has one of the best warriors in the server too, helping him with DPS, and he's keeping all the debuffs for him, okay? He is not thunderclapping, he is not demo shouting, he is not doing anything that isn't spamming Devastate, because Even though he has a lot of damage, the threat is very tight when you got really good DPSs in your raid. So he needs the warrior to step down his DPS a little and help, okay? That's probably what you're gonna have to do. If you are gonna go Gladiator stance, you're gonna need another warrior to handle all the divas for you and the buffs. I would say, guys, that you should do the following. You should go, take up your Gladiator build, and see if you can get like a couple buffs and see if you can pump like at least 900 DPS, guys. If you can pump 900 DPS or more, I think you're gonna have no trouble holding threat, and you may have a justification, a reason to go this build. Otherwise, and this is probably 90% of the player base right now, you probably shouldn't do this. Gladiator DPS is fine though, it's doing about as much damage as an Arms Warrior, a little better, so you got that going on for you if you don't want to go Fury. It's a very decent tough tank too, if you want to like just tank one part of one fight and then go back to DPS in a Gladiator, you can do that. But overall, even though this is very niche and probably your normal raider is never gonna be doing stuff like this, and probably only him and like 2 more people in the world are gonna do this kind of damage ever, the truth of the matter is, if you are speedrunning, it is very hard to justify not taking something like this. This is like not even a DPS, this is one of the best DPS you can possibly get for free instead of a tank. The reason that he's killing everything with so much high DPS is not only that he's doing a lot of DPS, but the bosses are dying so fast that he has very high uptime on Berserker Rage, he has very high uptime on Blood Rage, that's Flagellation, 25% more damage. Then he has very high uptime on Recklessness and Death Wish. So everything combined, he has like during the whole fight like a 25-30% extra damage modifier on top of all his other modifiers. So that's the final caveat. If your guild doesn't do very good damage, if the fights drag out for long, this is also not the build for you. But yes, congratulations to Shredz, you show the world that the warrior can, and that's something we can all appreciate. I don't know if this guy streams, I couldn't find anything about them, but if you guys know about it, I would love to link him in the comments or something. It looks really amazing what he's doing. Also, I'd like to spy on him, I wanna see what the hell he does, this is impressive. Subscribe, leave a like, join the Discord, and thank you for watching.